And that is our social story, where we post, you decide. This week, 68% of you voted for us to take a closer look inside that El Salvador infamous CECOT prison. The Central American country boasts its maximum security facility, built to hold only the most dangerous criminals. The giant prison is located in an isolated rural area about 44 miles southeast of San Salvador. The government says it's equipped with state-of-the-art technology across its 8 buildings and can hold up to 40,000 inmates. Joining me now, Stephen Dudley, author of MS-13, The Making of America's Most Notorious Gang, and co-founder of Insight Crime. Stephen, thanks so much for taking the time. We want to talk a little bit more about this, and we want to start with what the conditions are like inside that prison and what makes it different from other mega prisons around the region and around the world.
Well, Phil, let me start by just saying we have very little access to the prison itself, and the government is not very transparent. So determining the conditions inside of this prison is very difficult. Having said that, there are a number of people that have been inside the prison, both prisoners and also human rights observers and other types of observers that have gone into the prison that have talked about it being rather sparse, squalid, in some respects, in terms of amenities, and also a bit rough in the sense that you're not administered things like mattresses or other things to sort of give you some sort of comfort. There's also a sense that it's very overcrowded. It is set up really for between 20 and 25,000 prisoners, and as you mentioned, the president has said there are as many as 40,000 prisoners, but we don't know. That's one of the problems as it relates to reporting on this prison.
Yeah, our Matt Rivers, one of our correspondents, actually went inside and got to give us a look. But as you point out, got to show us what the government wanted us to see. And you actually say this prison is the embodiment of President Nayib Bukele, his plan. What do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a prison that we don't have access to. It's a prison that holds prisoners that have not had due process. Their constitutional rights have been effectively suspended for years. The lawyers don't have access to them, and their family members don't have access to them. This is in many ways a reflection of the way in which President Bukele has gone after suspected criminals in his country, and it's by obviating things like due process and the constitutional rights. The ironic thing about this whole process, as a person who's been watching this for years, is to see how the Trump administration is really following the lead of the El Salvadorian administration and not the other way around.
Yeah, I'm wondering, we've been following the story of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who was picked up and sent there. The administration says mistakenly. There's a fight to get him back. But I'm wondering, do you think it's dangerous in a prison like that for someone like Abrego Garcia? Now, we know he's since been moved somewhere else. But for migrants from the United States who are taken there, is it dangerous for them?
It certainly is dangerous. It's very hard, again, to tell how dangerous it is because we don't have any information as it relates to violence inside of the prison or killings inside of the prison. We know that some people inside of the prison have been tortured, and this is from human rights reports that have come out about this, tortured by the guards themselves. But it's very hard to tell. The problem for somebody like Abrego Garcia would be if somebody thought that he had claimed to be a member of the MS-13 without being a member, or if he were housed in an area where the rival gang was, and they thought he was a member of the MS-13. So let's say he was housed in an area with the 18th Street, and they thought he was MS-13 because that's the claim that the United States is making. He could certainly be a danger, of course.
Yeah, without any details, we did hear him tell Senator Van Hollen that he was being taunted by other inmates when he was there for a brief time. In 2023, the U.S. Department of State cited reports of violations, as you mentioned, of human rights, while critics of the prison have also raised legal and ethical concerns. I'm wondering what your reaction to President Trump's recent comments suggesting that he would actually want to send U.S. citizens there.
It's a very scary proposition, of course, because the people that have been sent there have not had the due process that they should be afforded under the United States Constitution. And of course, going into a foreign prison where they say it's very difficult to get somebody out would mean they could be there for many, many years without any access to legal reprieve. So it is very troubling.
All right, Stephen Dudley, thanks for taking the time to talk through something we don't know a lot about, which is part of the problem. We appreciate it.